The open mic sign-up sheet, if anyone wants to read afterward, I'm going to pass this around, so if anyone wants to sign up for that, that's for this. And also, if you don't get our email announcements, there's a sign-up sheet for that. If you want to get notified anytime we do an event like this, I'll pass that around as well. So, preparation. Okay. So, our featured guest tonight is Diane Tarantini. She's a native of Huntington, West Virginia, and now calls Morgantown home. She's a graduate of WVU's Perry Isaac Reed School of Journalism. She's been a food panelist with the Dominion Post and currently writes for West Virginia Writers. She's won 4 awards at the recent West Virginia Writers Conference in Ripley. Her writing placed in humor, inspirational, book-length prose, and people's choice. And the manuscript for her debut novel, Confessions of a Life Half-Lived, is currently being reviewed by a literary agent in California and in a publishing house in Chicago. So I want to thank her for coming in for us. Please welcome Diane Tarantini.
Good evening. My name is Diane Tarantini, and I'm so thankful that you asked me to come out tonight, and I'm thankful that Morgantown Poets will have me tonight. I was very amused on Monday to open my email box and have a request for an interview. It was like my first ever. It was very exciting. Is Britt here? She's from the DA, and she just gave me some questions on Facebook and things like, how long have you been writing? What inspired your novel and stuff like that. And it just got me thinking back to over a lifetime of writing, what kind of gets you from wanting to be a writer to actually being a writer. And I thought of the quote that really lit a fire under my butt about 5 years ago. I thought it was a John Eldridge quote. And I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll tell you who it's by. Maybe you've heard this quote. It's awesome. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Have you heard that quote before? It's Howard Thurman. And it got me thinking, it wasn't quite midlife crisis, but it was almost. What do I do well? What do people tell me I do well? What do I enjoy? John Eldridge asked a question. If you had a year to do anything you want, your spouse, your children, your house, your finances are all taken care of. If you had a year to do whatever you wanted, what would you do? Raise your hand if you'd say, I'd write. I'd write. So does that mean we only have 4 true writers? Raise your hand if you're a poet or a writer. And not just know me and are being kind and coming to support me. Okay. I hope that writing makes you come alive. I hope that's why you do it. I hope it's your passion. The next thing that happened in my little journey was I was just reading a magazine and this headline jumped out at me. I tore it out and I took it up to my desk and I started writing a novel. And this is what it says. Once I realized failure was an option, I freed myself to truly get started. It's no big deal. Maybe you'll succeed, maybe you'll fail, but it's just, you'll never know if you don't at least try. And then when I go really far back, and I know there's one teacher here in the room, at least one teacher that I know, if I go really far back, I can find a seed that was planted when I was in grade school. And this is 2 paragraphs from my novel, and it's from chapter 1. I've known there's a book in me since the 4th grade. That's when my teacher, Mrs. Smith, took off her cat-eyed glasses and used them to point at me. Dana, this is excellent writing. Any 4th grader who uses the word blood-curdling is destined to be a writer. And mark my words. She went back to grading her papers. I sat a little taller at my desk. An hour later, Corinne Hunt lost her lunch. Cheesy beefy mac and chocolate milk on the desk behind me. Even that didn't burst my bubble. Miss Smith thought I'd be something someday. And I think that's a huge thing for any person, is to make a difference or to be somebody someday. Hey girls. The Morgantown Theater girls are here. So that's kind of, you are, and they've had cocktails, so they're going to be very festive. So that was kind of some things that have inspired my own literary walk. The first piece I'm going to read is called Bliss. Craig, raise your hand if you were at Ripley this year. Craig and I were here. One of our darling interns was at Ripley this year. Terry McNeamer is sick as a dog in Bridgeport and leaving for the beach at 5 in the morning, and he really felt the need to stay home and rest so that he could not be exhausted and have the flu. But this piece came out of me like within hours of getting home from Ripley, and I think most writers have that experience. Sometimes a piece just comes out really fast, and it can even be really good, and you hardly need to tweak it at all.
And what was Ripley?
Ripley, thank you, is the West Virginia Writers Conference, annual conference. It was there in June. And it's like summer camp for grown-ups who like to write. And there's campfires at night, and I'd never seen moonshine before. And they had it there. They had it there. And banjos and mandolins. Someone called it the little writing conference that could, or no, the Charlie Brown's writing conference. It's very sweet and gentle and laid back, and they serve grits at breakfast, if that gives you any indication. So this piece is called Bliss. It's one of my favorite words. Potswalker looks like a rough George Clooney doing facial gymnastics. He's a blues guitarist and singer. He's awesome. That's not yours. I'll start it over. Potswalker looks like a rough George Clooney doing facial gymnastics. To me, he sounds like Louis Armstrong with maybe even more gravel in his gullet. He goes somewhere when he performs, and I think I know where. His destination, maybe another planet or constellation, is a place called Bliss. I know Bliss because I've been there too. It's a place that when you get there, everything is right. No, perfect. The senses, all 5 of them, are standing at attention. The creative synapses beneath your head skin are ready to snap, crackle, pop. And your hands or your mouth or both are ready to do the necessary things to create. Pick your poison, poetry, prose, or song. Slurp it into your being with a bendy straw, or shovel it in with a serving spoon. Pick quality over quantity. Pet your trachea to encourage your voice. Come on now, don't be shy. Come on out where folks can see you. Into the air, onto the page. I'm tuckered out. When you listen, see, learn, internalize, visualize, share that much, that fast, with like-minded folks, there's bound to be fatigue. A hungover feeling on Monday. A sadness that 12 months lies between today and the next day. Next time, I know where Bliss is. Do you? Bliss is in Ripley, West Virginia.